Can these upcoming LEGO Marvel sets finally win back fans? Hey, how you doing? My name's Ryan, and today I'm going over all of the new LEGO Marvel sets releasing in January of 2026 and seeing which are worth buying. To do so, I'm rating each set as either a stud or a dud. Studs you want to buy, duds not so much. As always, this is just my opinion. If you want to buy all or none of the sets in this video, that's totally fine, be my guest. I just hope you use videos like these to make smarter buying decisions. With that, we'll go from smallest to largest, so our first set is the Spider-Man vs. Ghost Rider motorcycle set, number 76335. 72 pieces, a reported price of $10, and 2 figures. Wait a minute, a $10 set? I can't think of the last time LEGO made a Marvel set that cost $10. That's super cheap. The Ghost Rider bike is a good size, not too big like the last one, and also not too small given the price. It feels like the kind of set that could be a poly bag, but we're getting a full-size set out of it. The Ghost Rider figure takes full advantage of the new removable fire piece introduced in August of 2025. And speaking of which, this is a great design for Ghost Rider. I love the burning jacket, the flames coming out of his eyes on the head are fantastic, and are those new flame accessory pieces? If so, they look fantastic. Now I do think we get the same Spider-Man figure as we've seen the past couple of years, which is kind of okay, although if I'm being honest, sometimes I'm not sure whether a comic Spider-Man is new or not, because in the renders he looks really pristine, but oftentimes not as good in the final figure itself. So for now, I'm going to say this set has 2 figures with only one of them, that being Ghost Rider, being new. All that said, for $10, that's a really good value, and I think this set is our first stud. But what about Spider-Man car versus Venomized Wolverine, number 76336. 134 pieces, a reported price of $20, 2 figures with 1 being new. The Spider-Man car just feels like a tired, overused idea at this point. We had one in 2024, we've had similar hero cars this past January, and while the design is fine, it's not a must-have build. Then again, let's be honest, that's not why you're buying this set. Venomized Wolverine on paper sounds okay. I haven't been the biggest fan of the Venomized figures in general, but who doesn't love a new Wolverine figure? That being said, I do think the execution of this Venomized Wolverine is a little bit lackluster. LEGO opted out of the half-face, half-Venom look they've been doing for years, and instead we get a fully black mask piece, a body print that's a bit tough to make out what is costume and what is Venom, and blank legs. Now, I do think we will see our first MCU Wolverine figure, possibly with the Doomsday sets, and that will actually be our first ever Hugh Jackman Wolverine figure, but for now, we're stuck with this comic one that's not that great if you ask me. So with a plain Spider-Man figure, a boring build car, and a seemingly underbaked Venomized Wolverine, not even the cheap price can lure me in. $20 is a rather good deal for this kind of set. I mean, even last year, this would have gone for $35. But even at that lower price point, I'm not sure there's a ton of value in this set. So I think this one is a dud. But what about our next set, Epic Battle, Spider-Man vs. Sandman, number 76334. 201 pieces, a reported price of $25, 3 figures with 2 of them being new. All I can say is, yes, having more Raimi Spider-Man sets shows LEGO's dedication to making Marvel movie sets that aren't tied to the 616 sacred timeline, that being the MCU. Here we get a scene from Spider-Man 3 with Peter fighting Sandman and Venom. I quite like this new diorama style used here. It kind of resembles a trophy you'd get in a video game where you could go to your trophy section, pull up one, look at it in 360, rotate it, and enjoy it. And while other circular displays often have these gravity-defying builds, like the Endgame Final Battle set, the main build feature here is a Sandman mound to slot the figure into. It kind of reminds me of the Hydro Man figure from the Far From Home wave, but thankfully, this new Sandman is a complete minifigure design on its own. I am a sucker for a fully sandy Sandman, and we haven't seen one since 2019, although this new Sandman figure does resemble more the Sandman goons than he does Sandman. But the real star of the show here is Venom. His new design matches the movie perfectly, with yellowish teeth, silver eyes and webbing, and a really creepy demeanor. This is our first new Venom print in 5 years. We've had several new Venom figures that was the exact same print but different accessories, but this one is new. And looking at that costume suit, we are only one step away from getting a Raimi Spider-Man black suit minifigure. That would be incredible. As for the Spider-Man figure, I think it's the exact same one we got in the No Way Home Final Battle set. That's honestly okay because Venom and Sandman are that good of figures that they're able to raise the value of the set without raising the price all that much. Again, $25. So far, all these sets are relatively cheap, and that's kind of surprising for a theme like LEGO Marvel. Maybe LEGO has heard the fan backlash of overpriced sets and is actively lowering them to keep interest alive in LEGO Marvel. Either way, I think it's worth it, because I think this set is a stud. Next up, it's Epic Battle Hulkbuster vs. the Hulk. Number 76343, 413 pieces, a reported price of $50 with 2 new figures, both of which are new. As much as I've made fun of Marvel mech suits and Hulkbusters in particular on this channel, we haven't seen an MCU Hulkbuster suit, especially the Age of Ultron version, in a few years. This new circle diorama depicts a scene from Age of Ultron where a really messed up Mad Hulk fights the Hulkbuster, and I gotta say, I like what I see. I love the design of this Hulkbuster where you can remove one of the arms and have it fly around the back to punch the Hulk. While the build itself is definitely a bit minimalist, it's mostly some rubble with a messed up fire hydrant, a broken down lamp pole, and this one piece of scaffolding. I'm loving the way that LEGO is treating this Hulkbuster build less like an action figure and more like a posable maquette where you can slot it into the actual display stand and position it above the ground and have it be mid-air almost. The Hulk Big Fig has a revised face print with some red around the eyes to make him look really angry and again, possessed by the Scarlet Witch. But truly one of the best parts of this set is the new Iron Man Mark 43 suit, and that's a really surprising thing to say, as the designs for Iron Man suits have kind of stagnated in the past couple of years, but this one knocks it out of the park. First of all, there's arm printing. We haven't seen arm printing on an Iron Man figure since the Silver Centurion all those years ago, but also, this Iron Man reportedly has a brand new face print, with his usual grin on one side, and on the other, it looks like he has the Edith glasses on or some version of his tinted sunglasses. It's been pretty close to a decade since our last new Tony Stark face print, and the fact we're getting a brand new Tony Stark figure kind of decked out from top to bottom in a set that costs only $50 with a brand new Hulk Big Fig, that's a really good value. Add to that a Hulkbuster build that's the best we've seen so far, and this set is easily a stud, and I can't believe I'm saying that for a Hulkbuster set. LEGO did it. They found a way to make me care and actively want a Hulkbuster set. But what about our next set, Spider-Man vs. Mysterio, the Daily Bugle, number 76342. 781 pieces, a reported price of $100 with 7 figures, 5 of which are new. This is the latest in the Spider-Man mini modular city that LEGO has been making, but this set finally introduces Spider-Man into the larger Marvel universe with the figure selection. But before we get into that, how about the Bugle itself? The build looks pretty simple, if not a bit repetitive, but it does feel like it matches the aesthetic of the other Spider-Man modulars, like the Oscorp Tower and Peter's apartment. There are some nice touches in the build itself, like the newsstand, the US mail post box, the ladder going up the side of the Bugle, and honestly, I think I prefer the look to this Daily Bugle than the massive gray modular one we got in 2021. The other build here is really exciting for me. It's a new Rhino mech suit. The first one we got was inspired more so by the Mark Webb Amazing Spider-Man 2 film, whereas this one looks a bit more comic book inspired, being all gray and having the Rhino himself wearing a Rhino costume, complete with armor on a gunmetal gray torso and this headpiece with a horn attached to it that was first introduced in the Spidey and His Amazing Friends series. But Rhino is not the only figure I love in this set. The new Mysterio I think looks fantastic, with a new purple plastic cape that's been used on Batman figures, a blue dome with what appears to be a horrifying skull design on the inside, and I'll be honest, that's terrifying. A beautiful gold and green torso with leg printing as well. We also get a new comic J. Jonah Jameson with, I believe, the Michael Scott torso, the classic Jameson face, and this white Widow's Peak. I also think the Miles Morales figure is an update from the previous one, as that torso looks rather new. But truly, the star of this set is the Venomized Captain America. My god, I love the way this looks. Not only do I love the black mask with the little bit of Avengers A on top, that looks great. The face print underneath looks to be a half Venom, half Cap head. The torso design looks wonderful with that weird amalgamation of the star and the Venom logo. And the cherry on top, this is the first Steve Rogers Captain America figure to have dual molded legs, or should I say leg. This figure gives me immense hope that 2026 will finally be the year we get a Steve Rogers Captain America with dual molded legs, because, well, the design's already there. They've made it. They just need to give it for both legs. And again, compare this set's price of $100 to the other Spider-Man sets from 2025. The Oscorp building was $130. LEGO could have easily made the Bugle $130 and kept it at that higher price point, but instead, they knocked it down to just $100. I think that's an incredible value, and for some amazing figures, a solid build, I think this set is an absolute stud. But that leaves us with one more set left, the Iron Man Mark III Collector's Edition, number 76344. 1,297 pieces, a reported price of $130, and one figure, which is new, but put an asterisk next to that new. So this set could go either way for me. From a conceptual standpoint, I think another Iron Man maquette just is kind of tired and worn out, and we have seen a bit of a degradation of buildable Iron Man in the past, especially with this past year's Iron Man bust looking like, well, a bust. That being said, this one does look really fantastic. It looks like LEGO did update the face mold from the Iron Man bust we got in 2025, and it looks a little bit better, but not all that much. The torso, though, looks fantastic with all those armor plating pieces really lining up perfectly. Look, I do think there are better uses within LEGO Marvel for a 1,000-piece set outside of another Iron Man, but for what we get, if it was somehow contractually obligated that they had to make an Iron Man suit, it looks rather nice, and the figure they included with this set is a fascinating inclusion. It appears to be the exact same figure as the one released in 2022 in the Iron Man Armory set, just this time with new arm printing. The arm printing is different than the one included in the Epic Battle Hulkbuster set. LEGO could have easily skimped out and gave both Iron Man the same arm printing, but they didn't. Again though, I think the price of $130 is lower than what many people were expecting, and even if the build and execution are a little bit of a letdown, I do think there's enough good in this set to make it a stud. Now, there is one more January Marvel set that's leaked. It's this Doc Ock versus Spider-Man mech suit battle. We don't have enough images released for me to make a good judgment on it. It's another Spider-Man mech suit, so right there, not the best idea. I know nothing about the figures. I don't know if they're new or old, so for now, just on the idea alone of another Spider-Man mech suit, I'm putting it as a quick dud. But either way, that's 7 sets, 5 of which are studs, 2 of which are duds. That's a pretty incredible batting average for LEGO Marvel, a brand that's been a lot more miss than hit as of late. Maybe LEGO is really listening to consumers and making better sets and for less money. So this could really be the wave that brings a lot of Marvel fans back into the fold and lines up the bases perfectly for an incredible wave of sets for Brand New Day later on in the year and Doomsday to cap off 2026. But I would love to know what you guys think of the latest LEGO Marvel sets coming out in January 2026. Let me know in the comment section down below. Of course, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my channel members for supporting me and helping make videos like this. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.